let's take a look at apartments, penthouses, and houses, and even more excitingly than merely looking, we're going to compare them. Just like comparing desserts, but not as tasty. Let's look at apartments first, which are most notably a feature of the San Myshuno world, which comes with city living. However, know that there are also a few apartments in the world of Evergreen Harbour from the Eco Lifestyle Expansion Pack 2. Now, the first thing that you'll notice is that apartments are broken down into 3 price points, being weekly rent, a deposit, and furnishings. Unlike a regular home, you kind of don't own apartments. Instead, you rent them. Weekly rent is added to and paid alongside your household bills. And unlike lot taxes on houses that scale with your lot's value, rent is a fixed amount that will always be the same for the apartment that you're in. Meanwhile, the deposit is paid immediately when you enter into and start living in an apartment. Do note that if you later decide to move, then you'll get the deposit amount back. And we do love getting our simoleons back. Finally, there is the furnishing cost, and you can choose to either move into an apartment furnished or unfurnished. If you move into a furnished apartment, you're essentially paying to make every furnishing now owned by your own sim. So it's like you just bought it all from buy mode. But of course, moving into an unfinished apartment is much cheaper, but you'll essentially have to furnish it from scratch. Here you will enter a blank canvas space, and the only upfront cost you'll have is the initial deposit. Now, when living in apartments, you will sadly yet understandably be much more restricted in your building. While you can add or change internal structures, such as internal walls, floors, wallpaper, and doors between rooms, you cannot change anything to do with the apartment's perimeter. So you can't add or remove windows along the perimeter of the apartment, nor can you place or change doors along the perimeter, including the front door to your apartment. This also means that you cannot make your apartment any bigger than it initially is. While living in apartments, you'll have a wall mailbox, yes, fancy, and in addition to this, rather than a trash can, you'll have a wall trash chute which can be upgraded at level 5 to jam less. Highly recommend unless your sim loves broken trash chutes. Apartments also have a notice board that you can leave notes on, or even read the notes that other sims leave on it. And doing this can provide various moodlets. These notice boards will also light up when festivals are on, and they can be used to get more information about the festival and even travel to it. Another big difference that sims will have living in an apartment is neighbors. If you live in an apartment that has other sims living on the same floor, then you'll likely have to deal with their antics from time to time. This will mostly come in the form of a lot of loud noises, and sometimes this might even be loud love too. You can politely or aggressively ask them to keep the noise down, but their cooperation isn't guaranteed. Their loud and sometimes racy endeavors can keep your sims awake, preventing them from sleeping and even providing your sim with angry moodlets as well. I do believe that being friends with your neighbors makes it more likely that they'll be considerate of you or agree to keep the noise down when you ask them to. Overall, neighbors can both be fun and annoying to deal with, and they certainly add a level of unpredictability and chaos to the game. Some apartments come with unique lot traits that cannot be changed too. For example, a historical lot that has plaques which cannot be removed, and which viewing provides your sim with an inspired moodlet. Or there is the lively neighbors lot trait, which sees lots of parties and noise around, or even a quiet lot trait that lands you with very polite neighbors who never make noise. Some apartments need TLC and are always chaotically breaking and needing to be fixed. One even comes with a lot trait called romantic fireplace, and the fireplace in this apartment gives off a pink flame and provides nearby sims with a flirty moodlet when it's on. For some reason, it's making me think of Harry Potter. Finally, know that apartments are locked into an apartment lot type, meaning that you can't make them tiny homes or haunted house residential lots, or even community lots for that matter. They are just for living in, which I do understand, but I would also love an apartment that's for community lots so I could make a hidden bar or something fun like that. Now let's turn our attention to houses. Firstly, houses have no initial deposit, no weekly rent, and must essentially be bought outright, with their cost comprising of an initial lot cost that correlates to its lot size, as well as the price of all build and buy mode objects. Note that the lot cost can be seen as kind of like the deposit, as you'll get the money back should you move. Now, rather than rent, you'll have to pay lot taxes, and unlike rent, which has a fixed cost, lot taxes scale with your lot's value, meaning that while they can be rather cheap if your house isn't worth that much, the cost of your bills can really escalate if your house is worth a lot. Note that lot taxes take into account your lot's value, rather than the amount of money in your Sims household funds. Houses are also unrestricted when it comes to building, provided that you stay within the dimensions of the lot itself, so customize and landscape to your heart's content. Generally, living in a house will see you have a freestanding mailbox and a large outdoor rubbish bin too, as opposed to the wall-mounted apartment versions. But note that as long as you have the City Living expansion pack, then you can use the wall-mounted mailbox and trash chute in houses as well should you wish to, provided that you place it outside. And of course, houses mean no noisy neighbors. Don't get too excited, you'll still have to deal with the welcome wagon. But overall, this will make for a much less interrupted lifestyle where you don't have to deal with as many annoyances that are out of your control. Houses or freestanding lots can also be turned into tiny homes, haunted house residential lots, and heaps of different community lot types too, so there's a lot more flexibility in terms of what can be done with them. Finally, I would say that while some general lots still do have unique lot traits, such as the beachy island lot in Sulani having an oceanic paradise lot trait which will help you to catch rare fish, overall there are less unique lot traits when compared to apartments. Finally, let's turn our attention to penthouses. I know, very glamorous. And these are actually much closer to houses than they are to apartments. The main similarity between apartments and penthouses is that you'll enter them via an elevator, and that your bills are paid from a wall mailbox and trash popped into the trash chute. But really, you can do this in a house too. Overall, penthouses are almost exactly like houses, whereby the lot you build on is high in the sky atop a giant apartment complex. Unlike apartments where you pay an initial deposit and weekly rent, penthouses will function like houses, whereby you have an initial lot value, lot taxes as opposed to weekly rent, and they must be bought outright. Provided that you stay within the lot's dimensions, you can customize penthouses any which way you like, adding multiple floors, balconies, and more. It's also worth noting that there is at most one penthouse per apartment complex, meaning that you won't have any neighbors on the same floor as you. Also keep in mind that penthouses are only located in the world of San Myshuno. Penthouses also can be both residential and community lot types, so there is a lot more flexibility in what you do with these lots. And with that, we're at the end. That's a comparison between apartments, houses, and penthouses in The Sims 4. If you enjoyed or found this helpful, then please subscribe and leave a like. I would really appreciate it, and have an amazing day. See you later.